that we really want to move forward with, and we're doing a lot of things in our Lightning experience. And you can see that we've brought campaigns, person accounts, opportunity teams, notes, and list views, and social insights into the new UI. We also have some Sales Cloud features around collaborative forecasting, which we won't be talking about or showing here since I'm not sure you guys use it that much. We will talk about Exchange Sync. There's some enhancements to reports and dashboards that you can look on. And then we'll also touch base on the Salesforce One mobile pieces that are out there. So let's dive in and talk about the Lightning experience. And we'll specifically talk about campaigns in the Lightning experience and what they look like now. I'm going to jump out and log into my Salesforce login, and everybody, hopefully you can see this. This is our Salesforce piece here, and this is the Lightning experience if you haven't seen it yet. And I'm simply going to come down here and jump into campaigns, and what you can see now is I can go and click on a campaign, and I've got the compact presentation space up here. I've got the more detailed and the related lists here, and we'll keep coming back to this, but you'll see some changes that have been added in here, and we'll cover many of these during the time today we've got. So one of the things I can do is I can go up to, I can see all the campaign members here if I want to, and see the list, so I can see what's making up that chart in here. What's the no-show in here, who's attended, who's been invited, and all those pieces as well. I also see kind of the activity over here. I can see the opportunities being tied to this campaign, all in one main key area here. So that's what we're seeing in the with the campaigns. You'll also notice, we'll cover this a little bit later, I can also import using the data import wizard straight from many of the objects. Campaigns is one of those objects that we can do as well. And so we'll show some more of that here. Let me go back to my presentation. So we've shown that. We showed you can see many of the details around your campaign, and so you can track future results and then see the ROI of a campaign. I showed the campaign membership and then how you can import them, and the compact. You can also control the fields that show up in the compact layout there and make that change and customize to the things that work best for your users. You can also use the data import wizard now to add campaign members and to update campaign status within the campaign object. So this is a new arena, a new feature here that many of you might want to take advantage of. On the campaign, we show the campaign history on leads, contacts, and person accounts, so that you can see, anybody can look and see what kind of history we've had with a particular contact, for instance, and see of the campaigns we presented to them, how many they've taken us up on, what they've looked at, what they've actually attended, or what they've declined, so we can maybe tailor or hone the campaigns that we target towards those people a little bit better. So Composer is a new way to create logs, tasks, events from anywhere on, no matter what page you're on inside of Salesforce. So again, this is one I'm going to demonstrate here. So if we go out to, let's go out to accounts, for example. One of the things that I can do is I can be on the Acme account. And one of the things that I want, you'll see over here, I now have activities to log a call, new task, new event, and email. And one of the nice things about this is I can click on email that I might want to send out to, I'm just going to send one to myself, to another email address I have. And I can go ahead and compose this, but you'll see also at the bottom here there's a little pop-out window. This allows me to just simply pop it out, have it sitting on top of my desktop, and let's say I was, I started in accounts, but I needed to go get some more information around, a case, or a contact, another contact person here. So let me go out and I can say, hey, here's the contact information for Howard. I told you I would send. And this, notice I moved between accounts and contacts, and this email still stayed up there. And I can add in a note here. I can also now relate this to, is this back related to the Acme sample account that I've had here, and then I'll just demonstrate in a little bit. You can also put some other rich text features as well in the new email templates. And now when I hit send, this will now be connected to my accounts. If I go back to accounts and to my Acme account here, you'll see that the email has been, here's the email contact that I just sent out regarding the contact information for Howard. So that's part of the new Composer feature, and it's available not just in the account object, but in many of the other objects as well. So jumping back and forth here, hopefully I'm not getting you guys too dizzy here. So I demonstrated that. You can also now update a template that some of your email templates, you can now update them and save them. And then the other nice thing is you can now search for and insert fields very quickly through this pop-up shadow box window here to insert them into an email template, whether it be company name, first name, last name, nickname that you would want to insert into a template here, making it much easier to build out and utilize the templates. For those people who want to opt out and where you've had previous issues with bounced emails, there's an indicator that shows you which ones have opted out, which ones have been bounced, so that when you go to do a mass email, you can more accurately hone who you want to send this to, making sure that you're aware of those who want to opt out, as well as avoiding sending emails to those that you've had bounced emails from because of a bad email address. So that's a new feature that's helpful there.
Hey, JC.
Yep.
Question that came in on Composer. So if you want to use that Composer in the docking email, so to speak, you have to be in the Lightning experience. That is not available in Salesforce Classic, correct?
Yes, that I see. I'm sorry, Lindsay, missed your question there. Yes, it's only available in the Lightning. That's part of the Lightning UI experience.
Okay, thank you.
All right. You can now update your email settings so that you automatically blind carbon copy yourself on return addresses, so that you actually get copies of the email that you send out go into your email box, so that you have those for your record and reference. Any questions around that? I see that I'll check down at the window and see if there's anyone. Notes. Again, I'm going to go out and just demo this. Notes is a new feature. There's a lot of new features available to us up here. If we click on this plus sign, you'll see that I can create a new note right from in here. And this is helpful because I can make a quick note and relate it to any of the objects I might have here. If I want to relate it to my contact, I can send Howard and click on Howard Jones as a sample here, and I can make the untitled note. So I'll say, "Go Broncos," and then I can also add, as we talked about, the rich text fields in here. If I want to, I'll go up and put the Broncos banner in here. United in orange, time to ride. And I can make that note, and it gets put into the notes for Howard as well. So I can, and you'll see that I've got many other things. I can create a new task, a new event, and log a call all straight from the top part here. And I can get access to that from basically anywhere in inside of Salesforce with the Lightning UI that I've got going on here now. All right. Jumping back. Again, I showed the composer. You can create notes from that, the different ones that you have there. So other enhancements in the Lightning experience is you can create and edit list views. There's activity filtering on the timeline, and more objects are now searchable in the Lightning experience. So the formatting winds up being much better for your search results there. We've also got a new object I'll talk about a little bit later here called work orders, and that's available in the Lightning UI, as well as assets has also been brought over to the Lightning UI experience. Some enhancements on the Community Cloud, we'll talk about those a little bit later, so I'm not going to go into detail here. We'll just forge ahead and go on to Salesforce Mobile. So we've got the Lightning experience now is in Salesforce Mobile. So what this does is this brings the ability for you to interact with different aspects on your mobile device. So you can look at the chart, you can interact with the chart that's on the dashboard page, you can tap on it to view the chart or the report in more detail, and then you can drill down into the chart as well and see the report that sits behind that. Additionally, if you've got a specific graphic there, you can now also change that graphic and make it, move it from being a pie chart to a column or bar, a gauge, any of the different aspects that you might have there as well. So this is all being brought on the Salesforce One, the Lightning UI experience here. Mobile device management is now available in for Android 8.0. You can now, the Salesforce One can be pushed to a device by the administrator. This SSO server is pre-configured, so it's already there for you, and users can automatically be authenticated here. You can also configure and lock down Salesforce One with the new mobile device management. So you can limit people. People can't copy things to clipboard. You can't open files if you don't want those there, and then it also allows people to, you can keep people from doing camera shots so they can take pictures of images that are on their smartphone that would be up during the Salesforce One application running. So adding another layer of security there for you. All right, Salesforce app for Outlook. This is the app for Outlook that many of you might be using already. You can click on and see all the list of the global actions that are available for you. This is now all available in both the standard and custom objects, so it relates to both the standard objects as well as the custom objects. You can select an action and update those from the Outlook settings to make them push over into Salesforce very quickly and easily. Exchange Sync is a new a beta program that we're rolling out, and this is basically, it's enabling you to have any Exchange connected device or laptop to be able to sync with Salesforce. If you are interested in any aspect of Exchange Sync and how this works, reach out to John or I, and we can get you onto the beta program here. Not a big deal to get part of that. So here you just see the configuration for the Exchange Sync, how you can manage it and control it, and then some further configurations. This shows you what the status is, when you're being synced up, and you can force the how often when you sync up, the events that you sync up on, all those different things are in the Exchange Sync beta. I'll pause for a second, give everybody a chance if anybody's got questions that they want to post in the window. If not, we'll forge ahead. All right. Not seeing any messages there, so we'll move ahead. Community Cloud. So Community Cloud, we've got a lot of new enhancements, especially with the templates and building out the Lightning components using Community Builder and other things there. I don't have any of this to demonstrate, so we'll be looking mostly just at the screen shots that we have here, but we'll look at the templates first. The templates here really basically allow you to set up a group. This is one of the new changes, is that you can make a group in your community look and feel just like the rest of your community. And previously this wasn't possible. Now you've got the groups component, the UI components are in and available for groups. So you can build up your group to look just like the rest of your community site there. You can now add a tab so that groups can appear at the top for navigation in your community, and clicking that would take everybody to a list of all the groups that they might have access to inside of there. There's a lot more ways to interact that's being built into the group templates. Again, the rich text, formatting capabilities are being brought in here, so you can put in audio and video files into your group, and those are part of the template, so that you can just have those be in there without having, basically point and click or drag and drop into a community. And these are now available in the templates as well. Putting a feed into the community is now, it's a drag and drop component, so you can add it to any of the Lightning pages. So this makes it much easier to put feeds into different aspects of your community, and can be now supported through the Builder component. All right. All right. So this is again, this is the compact feed, is the drag and drop component here, and it allows you to add a lot more properties around it. You can also choose to have my feed show up in there as well. And this just shows you another way of the compact feed, very quick and easy way for you to look at and scan and look for feeds that, look for a post that you we're looking for, and that's also customizable. The profile components is now part of the Community Builder, and this allows you to bring the new profile aspect into your community. It's a much cleaner, simpler looking UI, and allows people to have more control over what they have in there. You can put, LinkedIn, your social media type of information in there, and I'll demonstrate this in a little bit here down the road when as it actually works inside of Salesforce. The profiles in your community are customizable, and again, you can add it to any of the components that you want in your community there. So Page Manager. Page Manager in the Community Builder has provided, we've got 8 layout options that also include 2 and 3 column options there. You can also build out custom templates specific for your org and make them available, and that really provides you for an infinite number of custom layouts that you might have inside of your community. So you can change things up very quickly and easily inside of your community. There's a new location for a new page button that's over on the left-hand nav bar. With the Page Manager, what we're really trying to do here is really manage multiple aspects of your community page all in one spot, from the vanity URL to the objects and associated pages, titles and descriptions, other aspects around that are all inside of the Page Manager, and it's all in one spot. Now, before we made some of these changes, there was one record that would have many attached parts to it. What you're seeing here is what it used to look like, is you'd drag the record detail component onto the page, and then there'd be these 4 other pieces that you'd have to go out and pull in there. You didn't have any capabilities to customize them They were all kind of where they were at, and you kind of had to take them as they came to you. Now, once you insert each component, you can now build these out, and you can add them in separately or not, depending on what you want. So you have the full capability to format and change and add these components into your community using Community Builder as you want. And then the My Accounts now is accessible from the profile drop-down. Before, the My Accounts was not up there, and you can make that available for people so they can jump between their different accounts that they might have inside of your community. All right. I think the theme of this release we could talk about is the rich feed and rich text, rich formatting experience that we're bringing forward, and you'll see a lot of it here. This is now being brought out in the community templates as well. Again, showing that you can add rich text components to a page. You can then put things like video and audio. You can feed in feeds from like YouTube onto your page here, embed those in your community so that you could potentially show, a welcoming from the governor or a welcome from the agency head talking about, all the things that they want to do inside of the community that might be presented out there to the constituents. You can add text and hyperlink images and embed them in the videos as well as the posts. So not only are they part of your community, but now they can be part of posts that people might make out on the community. You can include those in there. And the formatting is now inline, so you don't have to click on anything to preview it. You'll see the photo down here, for example. And then you can also attach multiple files at the same time without having to do one post per file that you wanted to post out there, which was a previous experience. And we'll got another example here is now you can select up to 5 files in the unified file picker and post those out onto that without having to go through one by one. You can see the rendering of the files, so from the feed, so you don't have to look at or click on it. And then there's an HTML5 preview here, so you no longer need to have Adobe Flash there to be able to see the what the image might be inside of the post. You can also include multiple attachments, so you can do in a single post. Previously, like I said, you could only put one file at a time. So, for example, after this post, if I went out to our community page that we've got with the state of Colorado, I'd have to post the recording from this session, as well as I'd have to create another separate post with the deck that we used for this session. Now I can do both of them together at the same time on the same post with the multi-attachment publisher here. So we have, when you get to managing topics, now group managers can now manage the hierarchy of the topics, not just be alphabetical. You can move them around and put them in the order that you want to based upon different aspects of that. So now people can then show a topic, they can drill down on it, and then they can save that and show them in the publisher. Recommended audiences. This is kind of a neat feature because now you can create audiences that you might want to target for specific aspects of your community. You might want to create audiences so you can target posts, or that you can send out newsletters to, or that via an attachment in the feed. But this really allows you to create an audience and then add members to them and have them get specific content based upon what they are interested in, based upon the type of group or audience that they might be. So this is another way to target it. Outside of just groups, you can now have audiences inside of the communities. Topics, topic recommendations are now in the NAPILI template, and if you don't have a topic, if there's not enough topics being recommended, there'll be a default. There'll be no recommendations in some of them, but once people start creating topics, they'll start showing up, and then as people post on them, they'll see recommended topics that they should follow and look to have inside when they're in the community. From an aspect around leaderboards, one of the things that you can do, we've changed some things here if you make use of leaderboards in your community. When users log in, they can see where they rank in comparison to other people on the leaderboards here. So you can see at the bottom here, this one, the agent, he's ranked 15, and he's got some catching up to do if he wants to catch Patricia or Sylvia or Eric Ware, who's at the top of the board there. You have some customizable text in the help area up there on the leaderboard. And then this also allows you to show and discover the expertise of community leaders by, what they know, showing that, this person knows camps and hiking and backpacks. You can really do that. You can also configure how the leaderboard should show, whether, knowledge and points or knowledge and last active, so that you have ability to show that and rank the leaderboard accordingly to some different aspects there. All right. Some non-community chatter enhancements that we've put in there. Prior to this, whenever you would start typing an app mention, the list always came up alphabetical. But now if you're commenting on a post and there was somebody already app mentioned in there, and you start typing in at and then A, that person would show up here. In this case, we see Adrienne Wang is shown, fourth in line here, but since she was already posted, she's app mentioned in this post, we want to create an additional comment to her. Once we start typing A, Adrienne would pop to the top of that list, so we don't have to scroll down through the entire list any longer. It's a little bit convenient feature there. New with the chatter feed is you can now edit posts that contain links and also documents. So we'll do that as well. But for file attachments, you can go in and edit this. Previously, if there was a file attached or a link attached, you couldn't edit that post. Now you can edit the post. You can even upload a new artifact to the post if you want to create or update with a new file that should be there. As I said, you can also do this for links. So if you mistype the link and put in the wrong link there, you can go ahead and edit that, put in the new link there, and then update it and save it so that now the new link is out there and available for folks. Broadcast groups. Broadcast groups is a new feature that you guys may find useful. Broadcast groups are groups that would be created where the owners of the group, and you can have multiple owners of a group, as you know. Owners of a group are the only ones who can make posts. Other members can only make comments. And where you might want to use this is for, let's say that you guys were doing a release and saying, OIT is going to be taking one of the systems offline on Friday from 8 to 9. That's what we want, where we, want to go offline from 8 to 9 o'clock at night. You can put this post out there and broadcast it out there. All right? All right, so there's group reports. There's profile enhancements. You can now add a little banner to the top of your profile here. And you can now look at all the groups out there in a single list as well. You can see the activity, the number of members, and who's the owner. So let's move on to Service Cloud. We have work orders. is the new object, and I'll just jump right into that. I'm not able to demonstrate this because I don't have this in my demo org here, but work orders is a new way that you can create a work order from a case to get somebody to go out and actually fix something. In this case, like a traffic light has been broken. You can dispatch a work order out to the right department. Work orders can be integrated with accounts, contacts, assets, cases, other things here. I won't go through the example use cases here. We'll skip over that. And work orders supports the line item feed in the basic feed-based layouts here. They also support quick actions in here. So macros. You can run any macro on any object that has a feed-based layout. So this is a nice change. You can put this in anything that has where you want a feed-based layout. It's not just in the console any longer. I'll let you guys go through this, using running the macros using the API. Social customer service. This is just a way for you to be able to manage your social presence here a little bit easier. You can type MED into the quick find, and you bring up all your customizations. You can enable social customer service and have managed both the personas as well. We provide you with a new way to moderate the social posts out there so that you can triage them very quickly. You can check multiples of them and say ignore, or we've reviewed them, and then provide information back to folks through social media here. Sorry, I'm kind of rushing through here. I heard Lindsay wants to wrap this up at 3, so I want to try and provide some time for folks to ask any questions if there are any out there. So let's go into App Cloud. Within the Lightning experience, there's tailored navigation menus. I was going to demonstrate this, but in the sake of time, I'll just skip through. I'll show you. There's a wizard now available that will take you through this if you want to change the navigation menus that are on the Lightning experience on the left-hand side. You can create a new menu. So it's a 3-step wizard. You give it a name, add a description for it. You drag components from the left-hand side over onto the right-hand side, and then you can then assign them to profiles so that different people can have different looks of what their left-hand nav bar looks like. In the Lightning App Builder, this is where admins can come in and drag and drop all the different components of the Lightning experience here to make it really look the way they want to. So you can remove components like, or move how people jump between them when they tab, or activate different aspects of the page. Here's you can create a customized home record, what the record would look like when you're just clicking on it and viewing the record versus editing it. And you can have all these pieces are separate components that can be moved around, and some can be managed using the page layout editor as well. You can also have these how it works overlays that pop up over the top of it if you want to give users, first-time users, a little tutorial about how things work in the particular component that's being talked about. Let's go on to Process Builder. Drag and drop criteria can now be moved from within an action. So as examples given here, if you wanted to move the scheduled actions from the quote given down to the Opportunity 1 branch of the Process Builder, you can now do that by just simply dragging and dropping it. Prior to that, you were not able to do that. You can reuse names and descriptions for new process versions. So you can clone them, and processes are automatically assigned new version numbers, so you don't have to make any changes to that. You don't have to manage that. But do note that you can't change API names once they've been created. API names are basically forever, so you'd have to create a separate API name for the different ones out there. kind of a nice enhancement is now when you hover over a field, if it's not fully visible, you'll now see the full name of the field on hover. So you can make note of that and not have to dig in and click in see what it is. Gives you the full username there from an API perspective. So data import wizard. Again, some improvements here. You'll see the last 5 jobs that you did once you log into the launch page for the data import wizard. So you can see what's happening, and you can also click on the bulk API monitoring to see the monitoring page set up here. You can import from basically anything I showed earlier on campaigns. This is an example on the accounts. You'll see a little button over there, and if you click on that, that will bring you directly into the data import wizard. And then I showed the campaigns as well here. So last but not least, we'll go into the admin, some admin analytics, and this is kind of a new feature. If anybody's been looking at or hearing about our events monitoring and logging product, this is what's coming out on it. So you can start analyzing and monitoring things and setting up an audit trail. There's dashboards, 17 default dashboards that you can use to look at the most commonly asked for pieces of, give you lenses into the security, adoption, and performance of your particular org. Going down to pages, Apex classes, REST APIs, things that are being looked at, as well as login, so you can track and see how many users are logging in and making use of the system. From a trust perspective, you can create your own MyTrust, which kind of shows how everything is working in your particular instance, not replacing trust.salesforce.com. This is kind of making your own trust page so you can see how often, what the transaction levels are, and those types of things that people can take note of. You can also look down at the users and segment them by users so you can see which users are making the most out of exporting or using the most, if they're downloading a bunch of information, you can find out which IP they're logging in from to see if that's an okay thing. Make sure that no sessions have been compromised or anything like that. All right, some login forensics. You can see who's logging in by browsers, some more information here. There's some transaction security. We talked a little bit about this earlier in the Salesforce One Mobile. These are being brought in here as well. You can enforce some session constraints. You can reduce the number of active sessions a user has available before they enable new sessions. You can alert or block on large data downloads so you can prevent data losses. And Salesforce will automatically block if somebody's coming in from a device that's known to be compromised. The health check is a new one. I was going to demonstrate this, but in the sake of time again, if you just go out to setup and type in health check in the quick find, you'll be able to run this, and this will give you a baseline based upon what Salesforce thinks are the best things we do for security, from everything from requiring a secure HTTPS connection to session settings to password policies, etc. Those will all go through that on here. You'll see that you can make some changes. You can refresh and get the score and see what happens there. All right, and with that, I think that was all I wanted to really cover today. So John, if you want to unmute folks, we can see if anybody has any questions. Sorry for the rush there.
Everybody has control of their own mute destiny.
JC, can you hear me? This is Lindsay.
Yep, Lindsay.
So I have two questions. The first one is, so for the admin analytics function, is that something that we would need to buy Wave analytics first to be able to leverage, or how does that work?
I don't believe it is, but let me check on that. John, do you know right off the bat? I believe it's actually just part of the administrative console that's inside it. It's part of our new event monitoring and logging capabilities. Okay. But let me double check. I do not believe that you are required to get Wave.
Okay. So, and then my other question is, I know the last time we talked about winter release with John, we had the discussion that we felt, at least at the state of Colorado level, we weren't quite ready to move all our existing applications to the Lightning experience at that time, just because it didn't have all the functionality we needed for the types of applications and what we use them for. So do you guys think with the spring release that Lightning is more advanced now as far as what's built into it, that we can start looking at transitioning our current applications to Lightning?
So I'll give you my take, and John, you can weigh in as well. So I think you were wise to wait, because what was going on was, until we got many of the objects moved over into the Lightning UI, you would have a mixed experience for users. So if they were previously, if they clicked on campaigns, for example, it would take, if you were in Lightning, if you already had moved over to Lightning experience, somebody clicked on campaigns, it would move them back to the old, what we call the Aloha UI. So you'd have somebody looking at Lightning one screen, and then they're back to Aloha on the next screen. So, and then when they click back on something else that was already moved to Lightning, they'd be doing this jumping back and forth. So I think the question really is how many components are you guys using, or how many objects are you guys using that aren't in the Lightning experience yet? And if that number is significant, then I think we need to stay with where you're at for right now, and have then we can, John and I can work with you and plan out what would be a thoughtful or proper way to move over to the Lightning experience. John,
okay,
I don't know if that
sounds good. Yeah, because I think we were planning, internally we were going to start aiming for the summer release is when we were looking to try and get everybody to start transitioning, and so we just didn't know if it's something that we should do sooner rather than later.
Sure. John, do you have any other thoughts on that, or?
No, I mean, I wouldn't move over until the summer. I mean, it's going to have a lot more breadth and depth come the summer 16 release, Lindsay and others. I would also caution you on taking existing apps and transitioning them starting in the summer 16. Your smaller apps, yes, that may work for. I mean, eventually you're going to need to do it for your larger apps, but I would think to get the right exposure to Lightning, when you have new applications that you need to develop, that's where your time should be spent on evaluating whether or not it can go into Lightning, because your existing apps may have nuances and complexities that just are not they're not transparent, they're not shown, and you could run into you could spend a lot of time trying to transition an app. Eventually you'll have to, but I don't know that I would take on the debt of a transition in summer 16, but new apps definitely, Lindsay.
Okay, that's good for us to know, John, because I know a lot of the admins out there that have their existing applications are probably wondering, at what point do they want to transition. So I think that's helpful information, and we'll just have to go through, and I think we do need to go ahead and start getting a plan in place for everybody to see potentially when and how and where we do this. So yeah, I appreciate that information.
Okay. And Jack Dean posted a question to us that said, I'm a bit confused as to if we will be able to develop using the Lightning components. I think, Jack, that kind of goes along with the last questions that were asked, is, when you guys want to make that move to Lightning, that's when you would want to start developing using the Lightning components. They're the Lightning components are available for you to use today. I think it's just whatever the migration plan to move to Lightning for you would be when to make that move to developing in those Lightning components. Any other questions? All right. Well, thanks everybody. Lindsay, I will send the deck over to you. I will actually send you the full deck.
Okay.
And so that people can go through. There's, like I said, I removed about 50 some odd slides to make it as digestible as possible.
Sure.
So they can go through that. And then also, do you have the link to the release notes, or I'll send that over as well?
I have the one of the preview. So is it different than the preview note?
No, that's the same one and the same. They haven't. Okay. I haven't seen an updated. Usually they'll update it one more time before it comes out. So okay. I'll actually have the final release notes.
All right, and so everybody on the phone, if you want access to this deck, probably by lunchtime tomorrow, I'll have it posted on our website, on our release page. For those of you who've gone to the website in the last probably 2-3 weeks, you'll see that we posted that Spring 16 icon. It's the butterfly. Just click on that, and then I'll post this presentation there for you.
All right. Thanks, Lindsay. And thank you, everybody, for your time. Appreciate you guys. And if you've got any questions, feel free to reach out to myself or John Connolly or Lindsay, and she can direct them to us as well.
Great. Thank you, JC. Thank you, John. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody.
All right. Thank you.